This is for the white-skinned people who were born in the United States and whose parents were also born in the United States. There are a lot of creators who have talked about ways in which we can utilize our privilege to generally get in the way of what ICE is trying to accomplish with these raids. These include things like shouting La Migra or just generally being as much of a nuisance as possible, an obstacle, a distraction, what have you, as well as using our phones to record where that is possible. But I want to add on to that. I think it's really important that we also not look away. Do not look away. Do not avert your eyes. As human beings with empathy, I think it is natural to want to look away from horrific things. However, we owe it to our fellow human beings to bear witness. Further, there are going to be people who disappear, and their loved ones are going to be seeking answers. And by bearing witness, we might be able to provide some of those answers. To add to that, this country has a habit of whitewashing history, rewriting history, hiding ugly things, making myths and fantasies out of the past. And I think if there's one thing that we've learned over the last couple of years is that it is really, really important not to forget our history. So we need to bear witness, and we need to write down everything that we bore witness to. Write it down digitally, sure, but also write it down with pen and paper, because we don't know what will happen with the digital world, what information might be wiped out, deleted. If there are thousands of us committing what we saw to pen and paper, it's going to be impossible for anyone to dig up every record and burn everyone. In writing everything down, I really do mean everything. Commit it all to memory. Remember what people look like. Remember what they were wearing. Remember what was said. Remember how the agents behaved. Commit it all to your memory, and at the first possible opportunity, put it in writing. Put it in writing and put it somewhere safe. And make a promise to yourself that when the day comes, at some point in the future, that all of this is behind us, that you will pull that out again, and that you will make sure that people are aware of what happened, that you will speak up, that if you hear someone talking about this period of time and saying something that's inaccurate, trying to whitewash things, that you will interrupt and share what you actually know and share your own written record. Make a commitment that when a younger person 10, 20, 30 years from now asks you about this period of time, that you don't just say you don't want to talk about it. We have a responsibility to future Americans to make sure that no one ever forgets what is happening here, what is going to happen. we have a responsibility to every person that is picked up in an ICE raid and sent to a camp or deported to make sure that what is happening to them is not ignored. We need to document every detail, every moment. There may be abuses of power by ICE agents. We owe it to our countrymen, whether they're citizens or not, to document all of that. We are living through an important part of history, which the current administration will want to rewrite or erase, and we cannot allow that to happen. And the best way to make sure that doesn't happen is to document everything. Document it digitally, but also document it on paper. Not just these atrocities that are coming, but everything else. Document how we arrived at this point. Document your feelings. Document the feelings of people around you. Make it apparent that this is not an administration that had overwhelming support, that there were, in fact, large numbers of people who stood in opposition. Make it clear to anyone in the future how we got where we are, so that no one 20, 30, 40, 100 years from now asks, how in the world did that ever happen? How did anyone allow that to happen? Was there no one who cared? The best way to ensure that this never happens again is to document it all. You do not have to be a writer to do this. Write in whatever fashion you're comfortable with. It could just be a bunch of bullet points, scribbles. You can write in complete paragraphs, whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have perfect grammar or perfect spelling. Just get the basic information down. If we can do this, this is an act of service for our future countrymen, for our descendants. This is what we can do for them to make sure that they don't live through something like this. This is how we arm them so that if they start seeing things that are similar to things we've seen over the last 8 years, they can take action. They know what we tried and what didn't work. And that narrows things down for them. Those of us with a pasty complexion, I think, have a responsibility here because of our privilege. We are not at the same level of risk, and we need to use our privilege for the benefit of everyone else. Do as much as you can. Interfere, become a nuisance, be an obstacle, but also document everything. Do not look away.